Incredible to have survived an encounter with a heretic Astartes. Alright. Unfortunately, only one of the shuttles survived. Unless there's one over here. I guess I should have done that earlier on. I wonder how many shuttles you can save. Have any of you saved all three of them? Kind of sad I didn't, but hey, we managed to save one of them. It's possible that, you know, I'm gonna hold the phone on that one, on that level up. Praise be to the Omnissiah for manifesting this statistical miracle and invalidating an unfavorable tactical prognosis. Indeed, his colors were blazing, raging crimson. Thank the Emperor for our souls are unburnt.
Powers unseen.
That's loot.
Uncover my path.
It's loot while we're talking. Ooh, new boots. Oh, it's the same things I had. Yeah. Now I've seen it all, your ladyship. Sergeant Malgar.
Will bow.
He is dead. Well, damn. So is Governor Medina. Ay. That was the Master of Ceremonies, wasn't it? I think that's who that was. Okay. Aurora, heretical follower. Gem of Dark Vitality. 4 maximum wounds, 10 toughness when degradation is over 15. Each round the wearer regenerates wounds equal to the wearer's heretical rank. Ooh, that's actually really strong. We've got this also heavy bolter. It's a heretical follower bolter. And heretical follower sword. Life-draining sword. Those are some cool things. Alright, got the rebel leader up here. Yeah, taking him out definitely made the fight possible, I'd say. Ooh, rebel sniper rifle. It is better than everything. This can go in the cargo. New sniper rifle. Oh hell yeah. Look at that thing. I look cool. I love the way I look. Alright. I guess we will level up now. I was gonna wait, but let's go ahead and do it now. So, hold on. Oh, level 16. So, new archetype. So, I can become a bounty hunter. Bounty hunters are methodical killers who leave trails of dead bodies in their wake. A bounty hunter chooses their next target before the previous one has even realized it's dead. Critical hit. So core focus, critical hit, defense reduction, killing priority targets, repositioning. I'm gonna be honest, that sounds a lot like what I've been doing. I was like, initially when I made her, I thought I'd be going Master Tactician. But this sounds more like the sniper route, right? Alright, Master Tactician. Always in the thick of battle, using their leadership and combat prowess, Master Tacticians are able to harness the momentum of their party to enhance the combat effectiveness of their allies and themselves. Scaling with party success. Or, no, core focus. Scaling with party success. Long-term single target buffs. Momentum versatility. Okay, as cool as I think that would be, RP-wise, I don't think that's her. And then Arc Militant. An Arc Militant is a formidable master of warfare, able to blend various weapons and styles mid-combat, be it melee or ranged, or anything in between. The Arc Militant is best at it, and becomes stronger and stronger with each second in battle. Versatility, large area attacks, personal buffs, weapon set rotations, crowd controls. This sounds more like it'd be, whenever the Arch Militant uses an attack that is of a different type from their previous... Yeah. Okay. I think I know what we're going to do then. So, Imogene's going to be a bounty hunter. Ooh, look at all this. Hunt down the prey. The bounty hunter may mark any enemy in combat as prey. Whenever the bounty hunter kills a target marked as prey, they gain a stackable bonus until the end of combat. The bonus depends on the enemy difficulty tier. The Roman numeral on the enemy's icon. I didn't even notice that, if I'm going to be honest. Okay, so Bounty hunter kills a target marked as prey. They gain a stackable bonus until the end of combat. Okay, so tier 1 to 2, I get 25% of the bounty hunter's maximum wounds as temporary wounds. Okay, so I get health. Tier 3 to 4, 5 times the prey's difficulty tier percent critical damage. That's pretty good. And 2 times the difficulty tier percent and critical hit chance until the end of combat. And then 5 to 8, I get all of the above. Hunt down the prey has 3 charges at the start of combat. Okay, that's kind of cool. Sweet. Apply. There we go. We are a bounty hunter. Alright. Yeah, I'm not going to that one anymore. So, operative. So, you could be a bounty hunter too, but no. You could be an assassin. Assassins are masters at identifying the slightest vulnerability of priority targets and dispatching them by any means necessary. High damage, dodge and dodge reduction, threat elimination, hit and run. Or Grand Strategist. Masters of battlefield positioning for themselves and their allies, the Grand Strategist is able to increase the battle effectiveness of their party by designating and strengthening important parts of the battlefield. Battlefield control, ally buffs, unique utility, enemy debuffs. Now this isn't just for melee, is it? Probably should have looked at the characteristics and stuff too, huh? Yeah, I think this is probably more of a ranged thing, the bounty hunter. And I'd say the assassin's probably like the... Seems like it might be the melee equivalent. I think I'm going to go assassin with this guy. Grand Strategist sounds like maybe it's him. It's got the gears and the cogs on there, but I just don't... I don't see him as that. Even though he's very logical and everything. I don't know. Maybe this is... Hold on, I didn't mean to actually click it. There we go. Let me see here. Combat tactics. Is this the first thing we get? Keystone feature? Yes, it is. Okay. The Grand Strategist analyzes the battlefield and can create specific areas, providing bonuses to all allies, including the Grand Strategists, frontline, backline, and rear. In the first turn, all 3 areas can be created, and in the following turn, only one of them can be created. All areas can be moved with the corresponding abilities and cannot overlap. If there are 2 or more Grand Strategists in the party, the combat tactics areas are common for all the Grand Strategists, and the highest intelligence bonus and fellowship bonus of all Grand Strategists is used. There cannot be more than one frontline, backline, or rear on the battlefield. Regardless of the abilities used, the Grand Strategist always acts first. You know what? Actually, reading that sounds like it could be him. I kind of like that. He's a very intelligent dude. Yeah, we're going to go Grand Strategist for him. I think that fits. Now, what all this means, I don't really know what that's going to do for us, but... Yeah, what are these bonuses? That's what I'm wondering. I wonder if I'll open up those bonuses as we go. Alright, Abelard. Assassin, Vanguard, Arc Militant. I think you're probably going to be a Vanguard. An unstoppable force on the front line and a beacon for their allies. Even when facing extremely heavy fire, a Vanguard only grows stronger in the crucible of battle. Core focus, frontline leader, defensive support, temporary wounds, absorbing attacks, attack redirection. Yeah, I mean, that's a no-brainer for me, I think. Unyielding beacon. Each attack against the Vanguard grants them 1 stack of Unyielding Beacon. Each stack increases their resolve by 1, up to a maximum of 15. All allies in a 2-cell radius around the Vanguard gain a 5th of that bonus. Temporary wounds applied to the Vanguard now stack, but only remain stacked until the start of the Vanguard's turn. Okay, that's actually could be pretty useful. At the start of their turn, the remaining temporary wounds are reduced to the largest amount granted by 1 applied effect. If the remaining number of temporary wounds is less than the number of stacks of Unyielding Beacon, it becomes equal to the number of those stacks, even if the Vanguard has no temporary wounds at the start of the turn. Okay, so Unyielding Beacon gets you temporary wounds just by stacking it up. Okay. Cool. Alright. And you are going to be an Arc Militant. Yep. Right, so that gives you, whenever the Arc Militant uses an attack that is of a different type from their previous attack, the Arc Militant gains a stack of versatility. The types of attacks can be single shot, single melee attack, melee attack, area shot, or burst shot. The Arc Militant gains 5 weapon skill and 5 ballistic skills for every stack of versatility. If the Militant has 4 or more stacks of versatility, the Arc Militant deals an additional Wisdom divided by 2 or Ballistics divided by 2 damage, whichever is higher. Yeah, his Wisdom is pretty high. Yeah, I think that's good. Alright. Argenta. I think you are going to be our Master Tactician. Yep, she's usually in the thick of battle more than Imogen, so I think this makes sense. Oh, you get 2 things. Press the advantage. The Master Tactician empowers their next attack to deal 4% additional damage for every stack of tactical advantage the Master Tactician has, and loses half of their stack of tactical advantage rounded up. The Master Tactician gains 1 stack of tactical advantage per every 5 momentum gained by the Master Tactician or their allies. Okay. The Master Tactician begins combat with the amount of tactical advantage stacks equal to their fellowship bonus. Okay, our fellowship's not great, so maybe we need to stack that up more. Or we could go for something else for her. No, I like it. Might not be optimal, but I like it. Alright, and then you are one of these 3 again. So this does go off your fellowship. She's not going to be a vanguard, but... I kind of want to make her a Master Tactician, too. Although she's not in the thick of the battle. That's kind of what that implies, right? You know what? She's going to be a Grand Strategist as well. She's also... Well, she's not as smart. Oh, yeah, but it can be off the fellowship, too, so this is good. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. Alright. Let's go ahead and leave.
Let's seize the opportunity.
Wonder what happens if he destroys that last shuttle. Do you just lose? Does this mean we're able to save anybody else? Surely we could, like, squeeze as many people as we can on the shuttle. I can't believe the sergeant died. We even praised him. Guess it makes sense that he was upset, though. Still, we might have been able to get everybody out quicker if he was actually doing his job. Alright, who's this guy? Oh, that's Vigdis. Thanks be to the Emperor, you are alive. Your ladyship. We are most gratified by your return, and the crew is full of zeal to carry out any orders you may have. For anything else, I will hear an account of what happened to the system's son. Yes, what is the current situation on board? Why did you not send a shuttle to the planet for me? What is happening on the planet now? Do you have any hope of retaking the planet? What happened to the sun? The Voxmaster falters. Lord Captain, we saw a number of ships approach the sun. Black creations of inhuman make. Amalgams and sharp angles and edges. They surrounded the star and then... My apologies, but I struggle to find words that could describe that terrible sight. The Xenos made the sun vanish into the void. Okay, so it's just gone. Huh. What would happen if that happened? I've never thought about that. I guess we're about to find out, at least one theory. Like, the planets would just fly out, right? Right, because there's no longer the gravitational pull keeping them in orbit. So would they just, whatever trajectory they were on, they just go straight? I'm guessing that's what would happen. And obviously, you know, I wonder how long it would take for temperatures to drop. I feel like they drop pretty rapidly. I don't know. I don't even know if it would be like as would it be dropping like it would be nighttime? But for how long, right? I mean, I think the warmth of like the planet itself, whatever warmth is absorbed, will start radiating out. Eventually that depletes, right? I don't know. We'll see. The interrogator closes his eyes and grimaces. Jukari. You see Abelard's expression change, as if his shadow has suddenly fallen over him. He rubs his temple warily. As if we didn't have enough troubles on our hands already. Would you care to elaborate, Heinrich? The Xenos, enemies of humanity? And how were they able to carry out their plan? Why were they not spotted ahead of time? Explain yourselves. The enemies of humanity. Heinrich nods. A breed of the Eldari. Yeah, those guys. The most cruel and devious of their kind. The design of their ships matches the description provided by the Voxmaster. Like all Xenos, the Jukari are a blight on the face of the galaxy, but their technological superiority is indisputable. They abhor and fear warp sorcery, which is why they rely on creations of their twisted intellect. And many of those creations are capable of things that may seem akin to sorcery to the unenlightened eye. The theft of a sun is one example of what they are capable of. Are the Xenos in league with Aurora's cultists? I wish to know more about these Xenos. Is there any chance that we could recover the Rykad star? Are they in league with Aurora's cultists? We can rule out that possibility. The Jukari would never ally themselves with the archenemy's worshippers. If I had to name one thing that humanity and these Xenos have in common, it would be a shared loathing for warp corruption. Harris glances around. The situation calls for immediate action, Imogene. We can continue this conversation later, if you so wish, but right now, he gestures at the deck, teeming with tumultuous activity. I believe you should assume command. What's the current situation on board? The navigator's sanctum is no longer empty, but the warp engine is still refusing to obey the engine seers. Without it, we cannot perform a warp jump. Pascal, what are you doing, man? Pascal's voice buzzes anxiously from his vox. It may be angry, or perhaps it is lamenting the injuries it has suffered. I will immediately initiate preparations for a prayer service. If the Omnissiah grants me comprehension, I will appease the machine spirit of this vessel. Why didn't you send the shuttle down for me? I do apologize, your ladyship, but we were unable to receive your request for evacuation. The Vox link was overrun with vile interference, screams, blasphemous hymns, and other equally sinister noises. Any who listened to the interference for a protracted period lost their sanity. Several dozen operators went mad monitoring the Voxcaster in the hope of hearing your voice. Each one of them waited in vain. What's happening on the planet now? Our augur operators are reporting numerous uprisings and other manifestations of the archenemy's powers at various locations on the planet. Based on the fragments of communications picked up by our Vox operators, there is practically no resistance being offered by the governor's forces. Millions of people are converting to the blasphemous Final Dawn cult en masse and assembling in prayer circles. Well, that's not good. Any hope of retaking the planet? I fear that Rykad Minoris is lost. The situation is deteriorating by the minute. We must leave the system as soon as possible. However, there are still people on the planet who have not succumbed to heresy and who are worthy of rescue. Besides the small number of our own shuttles, We also have the shuttles salvaged from the starport. So, the one. The dark eyes of the Sister of Battle flash. We must save as many as we can. This has all happened for a reason. Saint Argenta, whose name I carry with reverence and trepidation, is famed for saving the people of a dying world through the power of prayer. The God Emperor himself sent a star from the heavens that lifted the saint and her followers up to the sky, away from corruption and death. We must do as she did. Direct all our efforts to saving these people who are, at this moment, look to the heavens in hope of salvation. The lives of peasants are of little value. Our prime objective is to save the Holy Relic, the miraculous fusion reactor, and the electro priests who guard and tend it. Abelard furrows his brows. Every moment we spend in proximity to a dying world, we are putting ourselves at risk. Your life, Lord Captain, is far more valuable than all of Rykad Minoris. The Von Valancius dynasty cannot be allowed to perish, and so, limitable though it is, we must rule out the idea of any evacuation. Eric's eyes, like two deep dark pools, are resolutely fixed on you. The world is doomed, and its inhabitants along with it. The disappearance of the star was the final nudge toward death, the finale of the cult of the Final Dawn's plans. I once witnessed a similar event. A world that had surrendered to the servants of the archenemy and permitted corruption to enter too deep. At this moment, millions of people are bowing down before those who promised them salvation, and they're willingly giving over their souls to chaos, a sacrifice great enough to bring forth a demon world. Our only hope of stopping this process is to retreat to a safe distance from the planet and conduct targeted bombing of the Electro Priest's monastery. If we blew up the reactor, a thermonuclear reaction will follow. The world's oxygen will evaporate, killing off the entire biosphere. In doing this, we will save millions of souls from a fate far worse than death. And we will save Rykad Minoris from becoming an outpost of the archenemy. Whatever fate you choose for this world, I urge you to make haste, Lord Captain. The planet is burning in raging flashes of crimson and purple. I can see it even from orbit, as do I see that the storm is already upon us. With every moment that we waste, it grows ever more difficult and perilous to steer the ship through the warp's turbulent currents. I'm with the lady on this. Enough talking. We need to get out of here while we still can. Something lurking in the depths of your consciousness bristles at the passing thought of saving people. The spike of horror you feel takes your breath away. It is as if you are planning to steal the prey of a mighty predator. The planet is already wrapped in a thread stretching out from the warp. It deserves to have a new master. Why can we not try to evacuate at least some of the people? Which of the planet's inhabitants can we evacuate? Set an optimal course and carry out an orbital strike on the Electro Priest's monastery. Rykad Minoris must fall. We will not waste any time on this world. Pull back and begin preparations for translation to the warp. Why can't we evacuate at least some of the people? For the simple reason that the transformation process will soon become irreversible, and our sole weapon against it is useless. The energy released by the bombardment could stoke the warp energies. I have never witnessed the aftermath of bombing a demon world before, but there's enough evidence of such attempts for me to say with confidence that you do not want to see it. Which of the planet's inhabitants can we evacuate? The nobles you rescued at the starport have given the coordinates of shelters, where we can find surviving aristocrats and their families. As for Sergeant Malgar's troops, they will help to control the crowds of frightened commoners and prevent the shuttles from being overloaded. Thanks to you, we have salvaged many shuttles from the starport that we can now use. Oh, cool. Nobles deserve to be saved above all others. Have the pilots extract all the commoners who have not yet converted to the cult of the Final Dawn. That's a lot. The miraculous fusion reactor must be saved. Set optimal, right. Okay, so choice time. Okay, so shockingly, I don't think I've ruled out any of these. Alright, this one we probably ruled out. Number 5 we probably ruled out. We are going to do something. So, saving the nobles. One, they're wealthy, they're influential, and I'm a noble too. So it makes sense that saving the nobles would be good, right? Obviously, the commoners want to be happy, but the commoners are all going to die soon anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Now, it transforming into a demon world, that might change the idea that they don't have the sun anymore, so the planet might still survive. So, there's that. Which isn't good, obviously. Because they're all going to be bad. Destroying the world is probably in the long term, long run, the best option. But can our conscience take it? Right? So Heinrich is saying we cannot save anybody and destroy the world at the same time. Or like, if we save people, by the time we get to the reactor, it'll be too late to destroy the world. Extract all the commoners who have not yet converted to the Cult of the Founding Dawn. That's too big of a risk, I feel like. Like, how are we going to know if they converted or not? I almost feel like the nobles would be too big of a risk as well. Although I feel like the nobles are less likely. It seems like it was more of a commoner uprising for the cult. Like a populist thing. Usually don't have very many nobles involved. We could try and save the fusion reactor. That could be really useful. I mean, that's probably a really powerful thing to have. And to be honest, we don't want the fusion reactor falling into the enemy's hands either. I kind of want to do that. I kind of want to save the miraculous fusion reactor. We save some people in the tech priests. They're useful. We're having problems with our own machine spirit on the ship. Right? So that helps our ship. We managed to save some people, and I'm sure if there's anybody else who took refuge in that area, we could pick them up too, in theory. Right? And we get the fusion reactor. That's going to help our own power, right? Assuming we can equip it on the ship somehow. We get influence with the Adeptus Mechanicus, which is good. And we take a potential resource from the cultists and the fusion reactor from them. Obviously not as good as destroying the world for Hyrix, but it's better than nothing, right? I think that's our best choice. We can save people trapped there. Yeah, we're going to go with that. The miraculous fusion reactor must be saved. Any delay caused by loading and transporting to the ship will cost us precious time. Do not deceive yourself, Imogene. If you indulge your vanity, you will doom billions to eternal torment at the hands of the archenemy. Do not forget yourself, Interrogator. One more objection from you and I shall forget all about the need to deliver you to Footfall alive. Maybe we're not so compatible, Heinrichs. Oh man, he's probably right though, you know? I just don't know enough about the archenemy. Like, I feel like I'm not... I've said this before. I feel like I don't know if I'm invested in... Or... Not invested. Knowledgeable enough about the lore to really truly be afraid of the archenemy. Like, maybe he's right. Maybe it's completely foolish of me not to kill everybody involved. Do not forget yourself, Interrogator. You detect a flicker of something beneath Heinrich's sanguine mask. Whatever it may be, it does not seep into the Interrogator's dispassionate voice. In that case, I consider it necessary to point out that the mark of the archenemy could infiltrate the ship with the priests escorting the reactor. Keep that in mind for the future. It's true. Consider it done. It's likely our shuttles will have capacity to evacuate some people as well. Good. Oh, we can do either one. I think it's too dangerous to take commoners. His warning there also kind of made me think it's very possible. I mean, even the nobles is risky, but I think less risky than the commoners. Save the nobles. Consider it done. This will bring us to the limit of our capabilities. We have no more shuttles to use on the evacuation effort. The bridge is in an upheaval. The technomat's prayers mix together in a senseless cacophony while servitors work hastily to remove a hardened crust of sacred unguents from the warp engine's components. In the middle of all this tumult stands Pascal, with a data slate clutched in his hands, seemingly disconnected from the flurry of activity around him. What's going on in here? Magos, why don't you assume control of the technomats? Surely their contribution will speed things up. Pascal, this is now your ship and your temple, so start acting like it, you blasted cog. Magos, if you do not bring the situation under control, we will perish. Act swiftly. Crew, heed the word of Magos Hanuman. Pascal, I kindly request that you take charge of this mess. Do not interfere. We will soon perish. Pascal shoots you a look of fierce pride and says with gravity, "You are right. This is my temple." His vox booms with power. Deck comrades, heed my instructions. The mayhem immediately subsides, and the crew's actions fall into some indiscernible logic. The Omnissiah's servants start working in sync, and the Benharic clamor becomes a symphony of reports, which the Magos coordinates like a skillful conductor. Admirably done, Pascal. Do not ever act like a spineless greenhorn in front of me ever again. Now make the rebellious lump of metal take us out of here. Admirably done, Pascal. The Omnissiah guides me. The prayers of the tech priests surrounding the cogitator almost drown out the sounds of the bustling bridge behind you. Pascal, poring intently over the data slate in his hands, extends a mechadendrite towards you. Please take your place at the cogitator, Lord Captain. Explain what you're doing first, as we are running from a demon world. I studied the data and discovered a machine node that was damaged as a result of the heretic's sabotage. The functioning of the warp sextant was tampered with, and the ship's spirit, aggrieved by this violation of the right of operation, is now rejecting its calculations. I sought a way to rectify this error and have concluded that your participation is necessary to do so. The cogitator systems of this temple of the Omnissiah are subordinate to the shell whose repository serves the machine we see before us. A machine created for you or for your predecessor, and one that uses the biological signatures of dynastic blood in its computations. The spirits should recognize the ship's mistress and submit to her will. Should. Pascal speaks the final word with a slight tremor in his synthesized voice. That should sounded less than reassuring. Lord Captain, comes the crackle from Pascal's vox, part beleaguered sigh, part interference. I am still poorly acquainted with this void ship. The acolytes here have adopted their own customs for conversing with the machine spirits. They do not know me, and they express themselves in a little-known dialect of Technolingua. I will trust in the Omnissiah that my analysis of the data was correct. It means we have a chance of appeasing the ship's spirit. Step up to the cogitator. The huge machine in front of you is lit with dozens of vid screens and hundreds of lumens. The blinking lights and endless rush of symbols and digits on the green background make your eyes water, and a vague sense of alarm simmers in the depths of your mind. The typical reaction of a layperson when confronted with the magnitude of the Omnissiah's creation. Among the numerous controls, you see the mouth of a cyber gargoyle, the same as at the gate of the war chamber. Pascal's voice becomes imbued with imperious force. Servants of the machine god, heed my command. Acolytes, prepare the incense instrumentation for the liturgy of machine spirit propitiation. Propitiation, rather. Senior technomats, recite the prayer to generate a current data report. Operations will be marked with the campanological protocol. Omnissiah rejoice. I must inform you that, for the purposes of safety, complete reassembly of the warp sextant and updating of its datasmith blessings are required. If this is not done, then at launch, the volume of aggregate calculation errors could result in the destruction of the data crypts. But as we do not have 100 hours at our disposal, we must omit this procedure. Pascal looks down at the data slate in his hands. A minor deviation from the right of operation for the sake of appeasing the spirit. What must I do? Deviating from the right of operation? That sounds dubious, especially coming from you. Listen, can't you do all this without me? I'm no servant of the Omnissiah after all. What must I do? Place your hand inside the throat of the Cogitator Guardian, the Cyber Gargoyle, which has been assigned to guard the forbidden data crypts. The dynastic blood extracted from your veins will serve as a key to the data core, where the machine spirits dwell. To it we will offer our prayers so that we may bypass the protective protocol for defective connections and launch the warp sextant. Pascal's voice grows quieter. The laws of the Omnissiah know no exceptions, and so in this ritual I will remain at your side to placate the wrathful machine spirit in whose abode you will be intruding. Follow my liturgies, Lord Captain, and may we receive his blessing. Place your hand in the gargoyle's mouth. The metal jaw clamps down on your hand, breaking your delicate corporal sheath and releasing warm red liquid into its gullet. At the same time, the image of the vid screen before you changes. Connecting. Success. I'm not going to read all that. Gesture at the vid screen. What does all that mean? Reach out and touch the keys on the instrument panel. By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp engine. What does all that mean? At the sound of your voice, the Cogitator's servants, whose bronze-bound skeleton is built into the Cogitator's housing, shudders. With a screech, its skull rotates towards you, and then stops in that position. Benevolent code. A voice receptor. Pascal emits a sequence of binaric signals and then is silent for several seconds. I hypothesize that the defect is located in the analyzer block. I register a reaction to the signal, but no processed response. A temporary override is permissible. The Magos intently studies the vid screen. The shell was created on a forge world unknown to me, initiating standard invocation of this machine spirit. Pascal leans over the adjacent instrument panel and sets his hands on the controls. At the same time, a quiet stream of machine code begins pouring forth from his vox. What should I do now? Lord Captain, I now ask you address the machine spirit. Speak the following command. Oh, I could have done that from the beginning? By my authority, I revoke the inviolability protocol of the warp machine. Engine, rather. The voice receptor will receive the vocal entry. Without your sanction, the machine spirit will not accept the data from the warp sextant. I do it. One of the Cogitator's vid screens turns red. Pascal sees this and raises his hand, signaling to the rest of the tech priests. Then withdraws a connector from his sleeves and connects it to the machine. Servants of the Omnissiah, make now the offering of cleansed data crypts to the machine spirit so that it may be filled with their true and calibrated data. May the Omnissiah have mercy on our souls. In meek solemnity, the acolytes offer up the cleansed data crypts to the warp engine one after another, repeating prayers of exaltation. After anointing the contacts with sacred unguents, Pascal inserts them in the Cogitator slots. Your head begins to spin from the holy sensors, foul-smelling clouds of smoke, and from the loss of the blood that the cyber gargoyle continues to drink from you, and the world swims before your eyes. Let this mechanism awaken in renewed purity. Pascal enters a sequence of commands and raises his head, watching the vid screen. Suddenly, he stops dead. No. His fingers fly over the command runes, entering command after command. His mechadendrites clicking their pincers pull at one lever after another. The vid screen fills with strings of symbols, completely incomprehensible to you, but clearly conveying something to the Magos. What is happening? Is everything alright, Magos? Say nothing and do not interfere. Yeah, let's let him focus. After a few seconds, one of the data crypts mounted on the Cogitator begins to emit sparks. A moment later, another data crypt does the same. The next bursts into flames and gives off foul-smelling smoke. Around you, the Omnissiah's servants break off from their prayers, and someone bursts into frantic pleading. Pascal mournfully grates out. The massive errors in the warp sextant's calculations is destroying the data repositories. The offering did not appease the ship's spirit. The warp engine cannot be filled with the motive force. We are trapped. A moment later, the Magos continues uncertainly. Perhaps an alternative Ryzen protocol, or an emergency launch of the auxiliary coils. The tech priest bends over the cogitator, but something in his pose and movements reveals his desperation. While the other vid screens are filled with more and more strings of symbols, the monitor in front of you blinks and its static image changes. Pascal is too engrossed in his ritual to notice. Read the information on the vid screen. Input. Pack comp. Nom OS stab true. Nom OS stab false. Stat check initiate. Perturb reg. Disturb reg. Nom OS operate rest quarry. Machine spirit, can you hear me? The cogitator's servant creaks quietly in its joints, a sound that is drowned out by the Benharic hymns and the tapping of command runes. Ping requests injury rescue Corey. Rescue? Yes, Machine Spirit, rescue us. Machine Spirit, this is the Lord Captain of this vessel. Obey me and start the warp. And my video stopped recording. Or my audio stopped recording. So this is me from the future here. We picked the Oh Hollowed Machine Spirit here. I'll try and read it, but I've done this like multiple times, and for whatever reason I can't get the timing down and it feels weird. Oh yeah, I had a little glitch here too. So this is me pre-recording this little 5-minute segment at the end here. Sorry for the inconvenience, but it had to be done. Pascal echoes your sentiment with triumphant sounds of a Benharic hymn. See, I'm already struggling. Pascal's next vocalization goes unsynthesized as he sees the vid screens begin to stabilize one after another. The strings frenetically galloping across the green background are replaced with stable images or regularly updating status reports. Only one monitor remains inexplicably red. The tech priest's vox cackles in shock, but his report is as clipped and clinical as ever, registering warp sex activation, registering data stream stabilization, registering 0 data errors found, reporting the warp engine is ready for translation. After a pause, Pascal adds, I'm also reporting evidence indicating a Category 3 miracle fulfilling the criterion. Thou shalt witness the mechanism that toils in glorification of its function and in defiance of deactivation. I'm a miracle worker. Hell yeah. Lord Captain, Raver here. The crew are almost finished carrying out the orders given earlier, and I've just received confirmation that from the engineering halls. I don't know what you did, but the warp engines are up and ready to go. We're ready to begin translation to the warp, your ladyship. What just happened? That's the one I go with. Pascal pauses. I hypothesized the ship's spirit heard our prayers and intervened. It summoned the power of the Omnissiah to do something beyond my comprehension. It appears the Omnissiah perceives and knows the power of your faith, Pascal. It would not have worked this miracle otherwise. Pascal, I expect you to save my ship yourself, not pray for a miracle. Your performance is unsatisfactory. I know little of the Omnissiah's sacred mission, but what I saw on the screen looked strange. Yeah, we query about what we saw on the screen. A non-standard output of information lost in the data core. The servitors used as data conduits are not always fully lobotomized. Fragments of their thoughts can appear even in pure code. Pascal falls silent, immersed in thought. We're gonna praise his faith. I hope he will grant me a revelation that will allow me to comprehend the nature of this miracle. Pascal's vox buzzes with wonder and an undercurrent of exaltation. Lord Captain speaking. I give the order to commence translation to the warp. Waiting for you to ascend to the captain's throne, Lord Captain. May the Emperor protect us. Alright. Let me get a cutscene here. As we enter the warp. That was me just discovering that my recording had stopped. So I actually start recording through OBS at this point, my voice, but I don't really say much during this cutscene. So you might hear a different kind of voice, but it's pretty low, pretty quiet. I didn't notice this when I was doing it because I was so concerned about the recording, but those shutters coming down, that's actually really cool. I like that idea. They have to shutter all your windows. And it gets a lot darker inside. It's getting pretty dark in here. Ah, there I am. I love these cutscenes. They're so cool.
The Von Valancia's flagship made its way out of the doomed star system. As the void ships plunged deeper into the Coronis expanse, the rogue trader's subjects bid a formal farewell to the late head of the dynasty, Theodora von Valancius. Having paid their last respects, the crew gathered their strength and braced themselves for whatever was to come next.
Yep. After this cutscene, we'll be back to me commentating in real time. I fix it. I love the art there. It's great. Completed chapter 1 achievement. Lord Captain, allow me to report. Our journey through the warp is coming to an end. Lady Navigator Orcelio informs me that we have reached the point where we can translate to real space in the Furibundus system. The Lady Navigator and her pilots are waiting your permission to begin the process. The Furibundus system is home to Footfall, the only Imperium outpost with a functioning wharf in the Coronis expanse. The tech priests are begging you to have mercy on the machines worn down by the warp, and allow the servants of the Messiah to inspect and heal the void ship's wounds in the dock. The prayers and rituals will take some time, which our astropathic choir will use to establish a connection with the prime worlds of your protectorate, Darganis, Janus, and Kiava Gamma. Master Zachary Weiss has recovered an invitation previously adrift in the Materium. The Liege of Footfall has humbly requested an audience with the rogue trader of the Von Valancia's dynasty. According to Master Zachary, the message was tinted with shades of pleading. I quote, "Apparently, the Liege is anxious to meet as soon as possible." Footfall, the place where filth and sanctity go hand in hand. Revered Hieronymus Doloroso will most likely expect a visit from me. I imagine he will be interested in talking to you as well, Imogene. I will be leaving your void ship when we arrive on Footfall, Imogene. Once that is done, consider the Lord Inquisitor's task complete. Your ladyship, young Yvain Winterscale has asked me to convey his gratitude for your hospitality and for saving him from certain death. Not wishing to outstay his welcome, he plans to disembark at Footfall. Lord Yvain swears he will not forget his debt to you. I hereby inform the rogue trader that during a comprehensive system inspection rite, this unit discovered data clusters within the captain's cogitator that are concealed from prying eyes by means of a personal cipher and a sacrament of algorithmic authorization. Unit Imogene von Valancius has been added to the access list and assigned the identifier Keeper 2. The unit has access, or the unit can access the data from the captain's cogitator provided that she possess the decryption key. Detect a hint of something resembling curiosity in Pascal's mechanical voice. You're leaving us, Heinrichs. The arrangement between the Lord Inquisitor and your predecessor was that I be transported to Footfall and no further. I dare not take advantage of your generosity and patience any more than I already have, Imogene. We meet again. True servants of the Emperor are always welcome aboard the ship. You're a skilled fighter. I could use people like you. What do you say we extend your stay in my retinue? Finally, my benevolence and patience were both about to run out. So be it. You're a skilled fighter. I'd love to have you. Thank you for your offer, but I must decline. I'm afraid my duty to the Golden Throne comes before everything else. Argenta, who is this Reverend Hieronymus who wants to talk to me? He is the head of the Drusian mission on Footfall, and one of the most prominent clergymen in the sector. Paying him a visit is a good thing for any local servant of the Emperor to do. I assisted his mission before I joined Lady Theodora on her voyage. I need his blessing to accompany the new rogue trader of the von Valancius dynasty. If you wish to have me aboard your void ship, I request that we meet with Reverend Hieronymus. Vignis, tell me about the system we are arriving in. Furibundus is valuable due to its close proximity to the Mall, the gateway to the Imperium. The system is mostly known for Footfall, the main base for merchants, privateers, and rogue traders traversing the Coronis Expanse. Additionally, the star itself is orbited by an Adeptus Mechanicus station, which is off-limits to outsiders. Alter Templum Calixis EXT-17. I had the honor of tending to this shrine for a few thousand cycles. I suggest you abstain from visiting it, as most tech comrades at the station are engaged in meditative calculations that should not be interrupted. What do I need to know about Footfall? It is the largest port and the trading capital of the Coronis Expanse. It has a dockyard that will allow us to inspect and repair the void ship, and it boasts its own atropathic choir, the Coronis Expanse communications nexus. Not to mention pirate hideouts, smuggler caches, and forts belonging to a dozen gangs, groups, and factions. In the Coronis Expanse, the Imperium relies on this as its outpost. The fringes of humanity's domains rarely resemble its central worlds, but so long as Footfall serves the God Emperor, insofar as it can, it will be considered a citadel of the Imperium. Although, I have heard that the tithes it sends are underwhelming, to say the least. Due to Footfall's remoteness, it has developed its own rules and customs. Many of the goods that can be procured there would be considered heresy in the heart of the Imperium, enough to warrant summary execution. Moreover, Footfall is the domain of the rogue traders, who transcend certain imperial laws by virtue of the warrant they bear. Abelard, do you know anything about the Liege of Footfall? Vladame Takara is a very peculiar young man. Consider your upcoming conversation a baptism of fire in Footfall's political arena. Such things are not spoken out loud, but Liege Takara is the appointee of the Kazbalaka mission, the largest robber baron crime syndicate in the Calexis sector. They specialize in the cold trade, the buying and selling of all kinds of Xenos rubbish. The illegal trade of commodities and artifacts of Xenos origins. The Footfall chapter of one of the most successful crime syndicates in the Imperium of Man, founded in the Calexis sector. Footfall was previously run by a liege who did business with several criminal factions at once, but he suffered an accident. The reins of power were picked up by Vladame Takara, whose appointment benefits not only the Kazbalaka, but also their most powerful allies in the Coronis Expanse, or ally, rogue trader Caligos Winterscale. Vladame is a slippery yet very cautious fellow. He does not usually beat around the bush and does not play mind games. Perhaps more importantly, he is no fool. Fools do not rise this high in the Kazbalakan hierarchy. Keep all this in mind. You are a rogue trader. You stand above him in status and wield considerable power. Having said that, history has seen cases where the Kazbalakan barons crossed swords with rogue traders and emerged victorious. Do not forget that, and remain vigilant. The Kazbalaka, vile tech thieves. Pascal's voice barks out the last words like a profanity. What's next after Footfall? As soon as we resolve the issues plaguing the ship and establish contact with the key worlds of your protectorate, the time will come for your Magna Accessio, the official ceremony of donning the mantle of the rogue trader. It is mostly a formality at this point. You already possess all the privileges granted by the warrant, and yet it is a major milestone in your personal history, the moment your name graces the list of heads of the von Valancius dynasty. We are all looking forward to that day, Lord Captain. What does the Liege want to see me, or why does the Liege want to see me so badly? Not you personally. He wishes to meet the rogue trader of the von Valancius dynasty. Takara does not know about Lady Theodora's death and is simply seeking an audience with the powers that be. My gut is telling me that something must be very wrong on Footfall if our astropath managed to read such strong emotions in such an anodyne message. We have no information, Lord Captain. The broadcast from the Footfall Astropathic Choir was the only missive Master Zachary has received lately. Tell the Lady Navigator I give her leave to make the translation from warp into real space. Vigdis begins issuing instructions. The massive ship appears to change with her every word. The bridge is set in motion as hundreds of people start to prepare for the shift to real space, and measured chanting fills the corridors to safeguard the vessel and its crew. Vigdis turns to you again. One more thing, Lord Captain. No one at the station knows about Lady Theodore's demise and you inheriting the title. Liege Takara will be informed. It is required so we can use the dock. And besides, he is expecting a personal audience with the rogue trader. He will not meet with an unknown person of unclear standing. However, there is still the matter of announcing your arrival. You can either arrive on the station with the proper pomp and ceremony, or choose to visit it incognito. Tell me the details, how these choices will benefit me. According to Footfall's unwritten laws, rogue traders enjoy special privileges that exceed even the power of the liege. However, they may choose not to exercise those privileges in certain situations. Arriving incognito will give you more room for maneuver, while an official visit will allow you to directly intervene in local affairs. I shall explain, if you do not mind. As per this unwritten rule, every rogue trader arriving at the station has the right to veto any of the Liege's decisions. But there's a catch. The Coronis Expanse is home to several influential rogue trader dynasties, and Footfall is where their interests intersect. Of course, that does not prevent certain persons, namely Caligo's Winterscale, from subtly pulling the strings in Footfall. If you, as a new rogue trader, start your career with an official landing and a parade in your honor, the other dynasties may see this gesture as the newcomer challenging their spheres of influence. You do not see that as a bad thing, necessarily. Old Man Winterscale may take slight offense. Corda will be put on her guard, but you have just risen to prominence, and most people in the Coronis Expanse have not even heard about Lady Theodore's departure yet. It must be made clear that the banner of Von Valancius soars as high as ever. If I may, I would recommend arriving incognito. You will have plenty of opportunities to savor the sweetness and the burden of power, but right now is the last time you can take refuge in obscurity. This way, your arrival will not draw much attention, and the people will treat you as a person, and not the almighty sovereign anointed by the Emperor. It could turn some situations to your advantage. Nah, we're going all in. Tell the Liege I'll arrive officially as the rogue trader. It will be done, Lord Captain. Vigdis bows again. With your gracious permission, I will return to my duties. Alright. So we are about to get to Footfall. Awesome. That was really fun. Really good first chapter, I think. Let me know what you guys think about that chapter. I thought it was really good. And no mention of the reactor, though, which I'm a bit bummed on. Hopefully we'll see the consequences of that, too. And the nobles. No talk of them, either. But hopefully we'll hear about them soon in the next episode. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll catch you later.